Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Betty and today we're going to talk about how I landed the perfect remote tech job and why I thought it was so perfect. So first, what made this job so perfect was that I had an awesome manager. She was a woman and she was a POC, and this was the first time that I had a woman as a manager in a corporate setting. To give a little bit of a background of what kind of managers I've had in the past, the first manager I had was a white male manager, and he really set the tone for how the rest of my managers were going to be and how I saw that relationship. He did an amazing job, and I saw how great of a leader he was amongst our team. From there, I had another white male manager, and he wasn't bad, but I could tell that he had too many things going on, and he sat in another state while I was in person in another location. Which now that I look back at it, that's our normal that's normal today. But as an intern at that time, just not a good idea for an intern. Sometimes I felt that even though I was with a mentor and I had a team in person there, I still felt like a bit of a burden to the team when I would pause them and keep asking questions. And they seemed a bit busy too to stop and help me every single time. From there, I had another manager, but he was really busy. He had been at the company for a while, did a really good job, but he was too busy for me, and I did not really get to grow with him. So then I switched to another manager, and he was cool. I think day to day, because we worked closely together, he could instantly give me feedback, and I could also stop and ask questions, and he would know exactly what I'm talking about as far as where my confusion was. I did not feel like the relationship was a two-way relationship. I didn't feel like he did a good job as far as expanding my network and introducing me to other people and what the company offers. And I just didn't think he had the leverage, and also he had not been there that long to be able to put me in a place to win. So yeah. So then I finally got a woman as a manager, and she stood out amongst all of them. It was a two-way relationship, and I saw her actively try to make sure that I was getting career development, but also trying to set me up for success on the team so that I'm adding value in the best way that I can to the team. I felt like she was a great leader for our team as well. She did a good job by introducing me to many different people within our team, and also externally, to make sure I get exposure to these people and to understand how we work closely with these teams and what we do for them and what they do for us. She also made sure to set me up with a really good mentor, both on my team and externally. The mentors that she provided me with, whenever I would come visit, that mentor, she provided a whole list of things to do in the city, to go shop, to go eat, and just overall really made sure that when I came into town, I felt comfortable and went out of her way to try to make sure that I was good. And I could genuinely tell that she cared about my career development just as much as I did. Then another great thing that she encouraged was my career development to attend conferences. We had a budget of $1,200 for career development, conference attendance per year, and I was able to attend South by Southwest. South by Southwest is a huge conference. When I first went as a freshman in college, it was basically just a music festival. But as time went on, it turned into like a music tech festival. And I went from a freshman trying to sneak around into events to getting badge access and attending this conference. Such a great experience to have. And then I was encouraged by my second manager to attend Afrotech, and I was actually going to do a presentation there. But because of the recession, our budgets were cut and I was not able to attend. But overall, allowing us to have a budget to attend conferences was another plus that I had not experienced previously that I was really grateful to have. She also gave me exposure to meeting clients. We work closely with a lot of clients, and so I also had the opportunity to go visit those clients and work in person with those clients and learn about what they did. And I was able to also get on site to do demos and learn more hands-on things. Another thing this manager did that I felt like my other managers in the past didn't do is I got time with her manager and her manager's manager, and this wasn't something that I had experienced prior to. Sometimes it was a little intimidating to get into phone calls with these people, but I think that time allowed me to, one, have more insight on. I think this time allowed us to understand more about what the person's goals were for the organization, also what our goals were, and we had the opportunity to ask whatever it was that we wanted to ask. And then to top it all off, she 100% encouraged my move to New York. I had expressed to her that I wanted to find a role that was at the intersection of like being a creative and being in the tech space. It was a little difficult to find, but I had attended South by Southwest. This is why it's really important to give your employees exposure to different career development options so they can better understand what it is that they want to do. And so I saw this team at South by, and I had expressed to her, do you know who the manager is of this team? Are you familiar with some of the managers on this team? This is kind of what I'm interested in doing. I learned about who they were at South by. I wanted to see if they had any open roles. So she does an introduction for me to the manager, and at this point I had expressed to her that I wanted to move to New York, but none of the teams were in New York. And so then I get introduced to the manager, and he tells me about what they do, and I express to him that I'm actually moving to New York, and this is kind of like a space that I want to enter into. And he's like, oh, that's awesome. You know, we have a lot of clients out there, and if we have any open roles, I will make sure to reach back out and let you know. So then like a month or two later, a couple months before I'm about to move, they open up a role and he hires me. And from there, he is completely supportive of my move, and they also give me a 15% raise to compensate for the cost of living in New York. So I'm like, man, everything is just working in my favor, and I feel like I'm being heard, and what I'm interested in doing is completely being catered to. So everything works out, and I end up moving to New York, and he is an awesome man. Outside of the mentor that my manager had assigned me to, I was also around many people who look like me. I also felt like our ERG groups also listened to us. External speakers they would have for our like monthly ERG group meetings, they were prominent people within our industry that we wanted to learn from. I kept seeing people who look like me, and I got to learn from them. Then the next thing I want to talk about is some of the learning sessions that the company provided for us, specifically being neurodivergent. I personally feel like this taught me, one, how to identify maybe if you are working with neurodivergent people, and then also how to access resources and tools, and also how to go about communicating this to your manager if you are neurodivergent. I think this also encouraged me to take responsibility to see a psychiatrist and get diagnosed with ADHD. And after experiencing all of these great things with this company, I got laid off. So yeah, this was at Microsoft. I had one of the best experiences working there. Despite being laid off, the people I worked with were awesome and really cared about my career development and also getting mentorship from people who look like me. And although I am laid off, prior to being laid off, I was going through a rough time and didn't know what was next, and didn't understand at the time that I was going to be in a way better environment than I previously was. And this past week was probably one of my roughest unemployed weeks, because I feel like things are now finally starting to settle in as far as what my circumstances and how I'm kind of running out of time and need to figure something out soon. So I've been reassuring myself that I'm going to get an even better opportunity than what I had at Microsoft, which is going to be really hard to beat. But overall, I hope you find this video helpful and understand how important it is to have a good manager, to have great mentorship, access to career development options, and to also make sure that you are in spaces and community with people that you feel comfortable with at work. If you have any questions, please feel free to comment below, and thanks for watching. See y'all in the next video.